Hello everyone, Julia here, hello from Sweden and welcome to a new video. In today's video I want to show you all my journals that I use this year, and I promised a video like that really long time ago. I was planning to post my 2025 journals setup lineup in the beginning of the year. And I filmed that video in 2 or 3 parts, I think, in the course of the few days, because I filmed it in winter, and winter in Sweden is really dark and gloomy, and some days there is just not enough of daylight to film, or it's a very short time that there is a good light or okay light to film something, and I don't have any additional lights in my craft room. I don't have any professional lights for filming or anything like that, any lamps, so sometimes in winter I struggle with filming, and that was the case. So I filmed that video in a few parts. I was going to edit it and posted it sometime in January or maybe February, but I accidentally deleted one of the parts. I still have no idea how that happened, but it was actually the biggest part, the longest part that I filmed, and I had to film it again, and I just kept postponing that for later and later because I didn't really want to film the same thing again, I'll do that all over again. I wasn't really motivated to do it, and somehow I just kind of lost track of it and almost forgot about that video, and then when I remembered about it, it was already March or April. So yeah, I didn't make a video with my journals and planners set up for 2025 this year. So I guess this is that video that I promised in the beginning of the year, but more like a mid-year check-in, I would say. I don't want to film now my setup for 2025 because we are already almost in the middle of 2025. So I thought that instead I rather will do a mid-year check-in, mid-year review. I will show the journals that I used this year. I used them already for almost 5 months, so now I can definitely say what is working for me, what's not working, and I just can tell you which journals I'm using and how they work for me, if I'm enjoying them, if I changed something since the beginning of the year, because there were a few changes as well, and what I like about these journals, what works for me the best. So yeah, it's kind of like a mid-year review of my journals and planners for 2025. And I think I will make 2 parts of this video, and in this first part today I will show you all my journals that I use daily or weekly. Basically that I use all the time, regularly, some of them really daily, every single day, some maybe a bit more seldom, maybe once a week or maybe once in 2 weeks, but those that are kind of my main journals for this year. And then in the second part, next week probably, I will show you the rest of my journals, which are occasional journals, some journals that I use sometimes from time to time when I feel like it. And most of those journals don't have any time frame, they are not related to any date or year. Some of them I use since 2024 or even 2023. So that's some of those older journals that I also already showed earlier. And I started a few new ones, but yeah, the journals that I don't use regularly. But in today's video I want to show you all my journals that I use very often, on daily basis, on weekly basis, and I think I will start from my planner, because I have only one planner and the rest are just different journals. So I will quickly show you my planner for this year. And I won't go too much into detail about it. I showed this Moomin notebook that I bought last year, and sometime last year I already mentioned that this will be my planner for this year, and that's what I'm using this year. It's an A5 notebook, and the weekly layout looks like this. So this is basically a vertical layout, kind of similar to Traveler's Company weekly vertical, just a bigger size, which is great because the columns are a bit wider and I have more space. So this is my planner for this year, and this is the only planner that I use this year. Everything is in this planner. I don't have any additional planners or notebooks that come together with this one, only this planner, and I won't go too much into detail, and also on those, I won't really show you those previous pages because there is some private information there and I don't want to share that online, but I can show you an example. Like, for example, this was the week when I was traveling, so I didn't use this planner for like work or anything. It's basically just, I just marked here like where am I on during this week, and that's it. But usually if it's just a regular week, I just write my tasks here in these columns. I don't use all this space. Usually half of this is enough for me. If sometimes I have a bit more things to write down, then maybe it's a bit more, but it's perfectly enough for me. And I like to have this overview of the week on one spread. This works great for me. I also like vertical layout. I really like weekly vertical from Traveler's Company, so vertical layouts work for me really great. I know that not all people like them, but for me it works. And this A5 notebook with wider columns is really great as a planner, and I'm using it every day consistently and it works really well. I don't want to change anything. And I decorate some weeks sometimes with some stickers. It's a Moomin planner, and some weeks already have some Moomin illustrations here, and I also have quite many Moomin stickers, so sometimes I just add more stickers, sometimes not at all, nothing, just writing down my plans and tasks. And yeah, this is basically all that I use for planning. There is also a monthly section here in the end of the planner, and I use it sometimes for writing down some kind of like work related things, maybe some things that I have to do on the specific date, like if there are any payments that I need to make or shop updates or something like that. So I use this calendar a bit, but I don't look at it very often. It's more like an overview of the months. And my planner this year is very simple and it works really well, so I don't need anything else in addition. I don't know if I'm going to use the same one next year or not, we'll see. Still too early to say, but yeah, so far I'm really happy about this planner. It's very cute. I really like this cute Moomin images here. And yeah, sometimes I just add more stickers. That's basically all that I do in my planner. And I wanted to find a cover for this notebook, but somehow I couldn't find a fitting cover, like a clear cover. So it's getting a little bit dirty. Because I use it every day and it's laying on my desk all the time, but I don't really mind, it's okay. So let's see, what do we have next? I just will show you these journals in no particular order, just we'll take the next one that is laying in this stack and we'll show you all other journals. So all other things that I will show you, that's the different journals that I use daily or weekly. And this little notebook is my journal for documenting daily walks. I already showed this journal on my channel, and sometimes I show it on YouTube. And this is an insert that I started in March this year. Before March, I didn't have a journal like this. I had a break for a while with this one because in winter I don't go out very often. I know that I should, but yeah, weather is not great here most of the time, so in winter I didn't have this journal, but in the beginning of March I started a new journal like this. I had a very similar journal last year and I really liked it, so I started another one this year, and now this first insert is almost finished. Basically, I think today actually will be the last day that I will use this journal, and then I will start another one. I'm really enjoying it. I really like all this cute, colorful animal stickers, nature stickers. And I just basically write down like a little something about my daily walk. I try to go on a walk daily, and then when I'm back home I just write down shortly something about it, and it helps me to keep track of those walks and also motivates me to do it because I really like this little journal and like to create new pages in it. And basically it's a page per day like this. Usually I write down the weather on the day and where I went for a walk, and also if I saw anything interesting, basically anything that caught my attention during that walk. It can be absolutely anything. Sometimes it's just where I went, sometimes it's a bit more detailed, sometimes very short, but yeah, I really like this little journal and it works great, and I want to continue with this, so I think already this week I'm going to start a new insert, and also then next week we'll show you a flip through of this journal. I made a video a short time ago about making a spread in this journal, and I showed you how I usually use it, what do I usually do in this journal, so I will leave a link to that video in case if you want to see this journal in detail. Then the next one that I have is my weekly memory keeping journal. I also already showed this one on my Instagram, and I have a similar journals since I think 2023 or even 2022. So basically I use this weekly vertical insert from Traveler's Company as my memory keeping journal. It's a vertical layout. I decorate it with stickers. Sometimes it's something random, just some cute stickers that I want to use. Sometimes it can be something related to the week, to some things that happened this week. Like, for example, if I'm traveling, then I can use some travel themed stickers, but usually if I'm at home it's basically just something absolutely random, mostly just some cute animal stickers or just something that I have laying on my desk. I don't really overthink it. Sometimes I pre-decorate it a little bit, sometimes just add something during the week, like basically every day when I write down something, then I just add a few stickers, and then in the end of the week, like kind of finish a spread. So basically what I do every day is just write kind of like a short recap of the day, some of the things about the day that I enjoyed. Also, it can be absolutely anything, like happy mail from a friend or new stationery or some books that I bought, or if I went to a cafe, or if I just had some nice cozy reading evening or nice dinner with my husband. So basically anything about the day that I enjoyed, some little moments of each day. And yeah, this was the last week. And this is a current week. I didn't write anything here yet. I'm filming this on Monday, so I didn't write anything yet, but I already pre-decorated this week a little bit. I just used some stickers that were laying on my desk from some of the new stickers that I recently added to my shop. So yeah, this is my memory keeping insert, like short recap of each week, and I really like this format. It takes very little time, and sometimes I do it every day, sometimes I skip a few days and then just catch up, but it doesn't take a long time to catch up on this. Even if I skipped a week, I still can easily do that because it's not that much. If I'm at home, I prefer to do it every day or maybe every second day, that I just don't have to try to remember then what I was doing on this day. Usually I need to catch up on this if I was traveling, and when I'm traveling I don't take this with me, but I also don't really like to skip those weeks or days and kind of keep that place empty. So then when I'm back home I just write a short recap of the trip and then journal about it in detail in my travel journal. And this monthly insert is a new edition, a very recent edition. I think last year I mentioned in the end of the year that I'm not going to use monthly insert from Traveler's Company this year. I had this monthly inserts for, I think, for 3 years in a row, and I really liked them, but I decided in the end of the last year that I'm not going to use one in 2025. And I didn't buy it in the end of last year, but I bought it in April this year, because in one of the shops where I usually order my stationery, there was a big discount on this Traveler's Company diaries for 2025, and I just couldn't resist and decided that, yeah, why not? I kind of missed to decorate these monthly pages. My favorite part about this was always decorating. I really love to decorate this, just to use some stickers and some fun tapes to decorate each month. And last few years I used it as my calendar, basically like a monthly overview with different dates, appointments, some events happening during that month. But this year I decided to use it also kind of like a recap journal, memory keeping journal, but just to pick one thing a day, something memorable about the day, like kind of the most memorable or the most special or something that I liked the most about the day, and just write down only one thing about this day. And like also it could be anything. Could be just a walk or some tasty dinner, or if there is something more special like a concert or trip, then of course I would write down a concert or a trip, but it can be also very small mundane things, but only one thing of the day. And I thought that it would be fun then to see in the end of the month kind of like the highlights of each day. So I started to do it from May. And as I said, I got this insert in April, so first 4 months are empty still. I decorated them because, as I said, that was something that I really missed, the decorating of these monthly pages, so I decorated all of them already. But I didn't write here anything yet, and to be honest, I don't know if I will go back and try to recap each day, like also these 4 previous months. I think I could do it because I have this, so I just could easily go through this insert and just pick one thing from each day and write down here. Maybe that's what I will do, but I think for that I would need some time just to sit down and take time for that. I'm not sure if I will do it, but I just like to have this monthly pages, like those previous months that I skipped, decorated. At least they will be decorated, and then I just will continue with this. So maybe it will be from May, this kind of monthly recap, one good thing about each day, maybe I will still catch up on this. I don't know yet, but yeah. And this is my recent addition to my journals. Didn't plan to do that, but in the end decided why not. And this is just a second insert for second half of the year. So this is my monthly memory keeping journal, which I use almost daily and it works great. I will continue to use it. I really like it. Then the next one that I also really like, and this might be one of my favorite journals now, this is Hours journal. And this is my first time having this journal. I saw it a couple of years ago and I always wanted to try it out, but somehow I didn't get it until this year. And also recently I showed how I use this journal in detail, so I will link a video about this journal in case if you would like to see it in more detail. I show there how I make this weekly spreads and tell what I include here, but this is basically my weekly recap, but in photos. I print a photo a day and then in the end of the week make this kind of spread, weekly spread. The most interesting, the best moments of the week captured in photos. And also same with that, as with that other journal, it can be absolutely anything. It can be something more special, can be something very mundane, very simple, depending on the day, because of course not every day is very exciting and special, but I think it's important and interesting also to capture all those simple daily moments, more mundane things, like not only some special exciting things, but also something that happens more often, just some regular daily things. And yeah, I love this journal. I love to make the spreads. I do this once a week, usually on Sunday, sometimes on Monday, depending on the week, and I'm really enjoying it and I will continue to do that, and I really like how it goes so far. It looks really fun already with all these photos and some decorations. I like to add some decorations around my photos. And yeah, it's a really fun journal, enjoying it quite a lot. So this is another journal that I use. This one I use weekly. Then the next one is my daily journal. I showed this one in the previous video. This is my new daily journal that I just started. I finished one in the beginning of May and I started this new insert and I showed how I make my spreads in this journal. So also I will link that video in case if you would like to see it. I was making this spread here and since then I made a few more, but not many. Basically just a few more spreads and I will continue to use it. I use this journal when I'm at home. When I'm traveling, I only journal in my travel journal, so this is like a home journal. When I'm at home, then I try to use it daily, but sometimes I also skip some days. If there is nothing that I want to add here, then I would skip a day or two. Sometimes I have a few days on one spread and just short recap of those days. So basically in this journal I just collect some daily ephemera like packaging, happy mail, some stationery orders that I got, try out new stickers that I make for my shop, or basically anything that doesn't fit in some other journals goes into this one, and also just shortly write something about those things that I included in this journal. It's always kind of chaotic and very colorful and I like it that way. I like to have this place for different daily ephemera. This is already my fourth journal this year. I already finished 3 inserts this year in 2025 and will continue with this. I really like this kind of daily journals, and sometimes I switch formats, sometimes I use smaller ones, sometimes bigger notebooks. but I always have something like that, and it's really fun for me. Then I also have this diary from Midori with a cute black cat, and this was a very impulsive purchase. I basically ordered this because of this cute cat, because I really liked how it looks inside. It's just absolutely adorable with this cat images. And when I ordered this, I didn't really know what I'm going to do with it. And I think I shouldn't do it next year, because I kind of feel like I have to use it because I have it and it's super cute, but for some time I didn't really know what to do with this journal, but actually it turned out to be really useful and helpful, and I won't show all the filled pages in this journal because this is a personal journal. Almost all the weeks are filled. There are a few weeks that I skipped. But this is basically a journal for my mental and physical health check-ins, and every day I write something very shortly, like how I felt this day. Basically, I start always like today I feel, or today I felt, and just write down a few sentences about how I felt this day in terms of my mental health and also physical health. I have chronic back pain and sometimes it gets worse, and I started to do something like this last year in autumn. My therapist recommended me to start a journal where I kind of track my anxiety symptoms, because last autumn I had really bad anxiety. I had panic attacks almost every day, panic attacks, anxiety attacks, and it caused me many different symptoms, like mental and physical symptoms, and my therapist recommended me to write down all those symptoms, kind of track them and notice what makes them worse, what helps, and things like that. And I started to do it and actually noticed that it's really helpful. It really helps me to find out what stresses me out, what causes me anxiety, what can trigger a panic attack for me or anxiety attack, and kind of notice some patterns and figure out what I should do, what I shouldn't do, and just basically in general track those different symptoms and things like that. And back then I did it in bigger format and I wrote more because there were a lot more things happening during the day. I had so many different symptoms each day that it was a lot, but since then it got way better and now I feel quite well actually, but still I continue to do this check-ins and just notice some things that maybe I should do or shouldn't do, some things that can cause me unnecessary stress, some things that can trigger my anxiety. I also had and still have a sleep disorder, which also now got way better than it was. For a few months in autumn and winter I just couldn't sleep at all, or like almost at all. It felt like I'm not sleeping. I was extremely tired all the time, and I also wrote something about that and kind of tried to figure out and find some patterns about my sleep and what can improve it. And that's also something that I still continue to do in a very short form in this journal. So basically it's a weekly layout and every day I just write down some things, basically how I felt this day and if there was anything that caused me stress, that made me feel anxious. And I think looking back, this also can be helpful if again it gets worse with my chronic pain or anxiety or something like that. I hope that it won't, but if yes, then maybe looking back, some of these observations can be helpful in terms of figuring out how to make it better, how to improve it. So yeah, this is a personal journal, so I won't show you those pages, but it's basically just writing about my day, like how I felt during the day, and sometimes I add some cute stickers. If I want to add some sticker, then I maybe can put a sticker here and there, but some weeks are just basically writing. So it turned out that this journal is very helpful, and I'm happy that I got it, but in the beginning of the year I didn't really know what to do with it, and I skipped a few weeks. Even if it was a very impulsive purchase last year when I saw it, it turned out to be a very helpful tool, so I will continue to use this little journal, and I really like the format, and also even when I'm traveling I can take it with me, and usually if it's a longer trip I will take this with me and also will continue to track those things and write how I feel also when I'm traveling, and also notice some things if something is different from the time when I'm at home. So yeah, I'm happy that I got this little journal, that I have it, and I will continue to use it. I don't know if I will stick to it until end of the year or not. There were a few weeks that I skipped, but the case with this journal, it's okay. It's just a helpful tool for me, and I don't take pictures of this journal. I don't post anything about it anywhere. I just show it here, I think for the first time like ever this year, and I don't plan to take any pictures of it or anything like that. It's just for me, it's a personal journal, and it's also a very cute little notebook, and these cat images are absolutely adorable and always make me smile when I see them. I think it's super cute. So this is another daily journal. I also try to use it daily, to write in this journal daily, but sometimes I skip some days and then return to it later, or not return at all. And usually I do it in the evening, sometimes maybe on the next day in the morning if I forgot about it in the evening. And the last two journals that I will show you today, that's my travel journals. These are like not really daily or weekly journals, but I will show them in this video, in this first part, because these are the journals that I use regularly. So like every time when I travel, of course, and like yeah, sometimes it can be weekly, sometimes it's once a month. If I went somewhere only once a month, then it's once a month. But I use these journals regularly. They are always a big and important part of my journal setup every year. So I think they belong to this category of the often used journals, regularly used journals. And I use both sizes, passport and regular size, and I already mentioned that I like to switch the covers. I don't use the same covers all the time. I just switch them from time to time, depends on my mood, depends on the trip. So now I have my inserts in these two covers. This one is for short trips. I have a short trips insert in this one and document some of the short trips here, but sometimes I just switch a cover and put the insert in some other covers. And in this one now I have an insert prepared for the next trip already. I just finished one insert in regular size with a few shorter trips. I showed it also a few videos ago, and flip through of the insert with some of the trips in Sweden that I just finished, and I didn't start a new insert yet, but I already prepared this new insert for the next trips. So this one will be, I think, for my next trip to Denmark and to Stockholm in the end of May. I'm going to use this insert. I don't know if I will use the whole insert for these two trips, or maybe there still will be some pages for the next trips in summer, I don't know, but I already prepared this insert and put everything together, and going to use this color, I think, for my next trip. At least now I think that I will use this cover. Maybe I will change my mind and will change the cover, but yeah. With my travel journals I don't have any specific rules like about which covers I use. It always depends on my mood, and I like to switch my covers pretty much for every trip. I think I would use a different cover because I just like my traveler's notebooks. I like to use them. I like all these pretty covers that I have. And yeah, I think they all deserve love and attention, so I like to switch them and take different covers with me when I'm traveling. And yeah, it also depends on the trip and on my mood which size I will take. Sometimes it's passport size, usually it's for shorter trips. Sometimes I also take bigger journal for shorter trips, so there are no rules, it always depends on my mood. And yeah, I think that's it. That's the main journals that I use this year, that I use regularly every day or every week or every 2 weeks maybe, something like that. And as I said, then in the next video I will show all other journals that I use this year, like my book journal, for example, media journal, tea journal, and a few other journals that I don't use all the time, that I use just from time to time. But I still like those journals too very much. They are also an important part of my journal setup. But this is already for the next video, because this video probably will be very long and I don't want to make it even longer. But I hope this video was interesting for you, and as always, thank you so much for watching and see you in my next videos. Bye!